My name is Ali Malik. I'm part of the HackPSU tech team. So if you may have noticed, there was no HackPSU this semester, and that's due to COVID-19. So instead we decided to make a couple workshops for you guys. So yeah, this is the Intro to HTML and CSS workshop. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So just as a quick prereq, I recommend having brackets. This is the editor I use. If you have Atom or Visual Studio Code, those all work just fine too. Just go ahead and use any text editor. Sublime also works too. Also, just have two images on hand. This first image I'm going to use the background. The second image is the HackPSU logo. You can't tell because it's white on white, but yeah. So just have two images on you. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and open your text editor, and we're going to go ahead and make some new files. So this first file is going to be called index.html, and the second file is going to be called main.css. So now we have two files created, as you can see here. Cool. So index.html is what is like the main HTML website page, whereas the CSS is kind of like, it's a style sheet, so it makes the HTML look pretty. That's basically what it is. So to get started, we're going to go ahead and make our HTML tags to say that, hey, this is an HTML file. We're going to go and make our head tags. And so the head is basically all the imports. So basically, this is where we would import this is where we would say, like, all the metadata would go, and where we would say, hey, look at this CSS file for any kind of styling. Next, we're going to add body tags here, and let's go ahead and move that. So the body is basically what is kind of shown to the person, so what we want rendered on the screen, basically, is what that comes down to. And so let's go ahead and do a quick h1 tag. h1 is header, or it's like header 1, I think. It's h1 through h6, I believe, and that's basically the size, 1 being the biggest, and what am I saying? 6 being the smallest. So if you're not using brackets, you can just go ahead and double tap index.html. Since I am using brackets, I'm going to hit this lightning bolt, and this is a live preview thing. And just to kind of showcase that, I'm going to go ahead and open this file as well. So this is opened with live preview. This is opened like as a double click kind of thing. So if I just change this to is the best, cool. So if you notice, the live change just automatically changes it, whereas over here I do have to refresh it. So just keep that in mind. Anytime you make a change, you might have to refresh. So since I'm going to use a live preview, I won't be doing that. So I just threw this h1 tag just for the sake of it. The first thing I want to do right now is make a nav bar. So I'm going to get rid of this and do a ul tag. Ul means unordered list. There's also ol, which is ordered list. So, and then in here we're going to do li, which is list item. So we're going to go ahead and do HackPSU intro to HTML and CSS. Okay, so notice the dot over here. Let's go ahead and make a couple other tags, and let's just do, like, I don't know, images, Facebook, and like Twitter. Oops, Twitter. So as you can see, these are just dots. If you change this to OL, which is ordered list, I think it'll change to like 1, 2, 3 or something. Yeah, so yeah, that's OL. So we're gonna go ahead and use UL just for the sake of it. And so that takes care of, this is gonna be the contents of our nav bar. So I'm gonna have these 4 things. And then the next thing I wanna add is I want to link this style sheet to this index.html file. So to do that, we're going ahead to go into the head and type link rel equals style sheet, and this is saying, hey, we're going to link a style sheet. and href is going to say this is where it's located. So it's in the root directory, so I just put in the file name. Some of you may have to do like that to go up or down a file directory. So this file has now been linked to this file. So just to kind of showcase my point, let's go ahead and do body. Body is going to call these body tags. So note the kind of notation here. When I don't, I'll differentiate in a sec, but this is calling a tag if it's in this format. So let's go ahead and do margin to 0. As you can see, it kind of just went up a little bit. That's setting the margin to 0. And let's go ahead and change the actual, we'll do that in a sec. So the first thing I want to do is I want to call up the UL tag. Also, I want to contact all unordered lists. Now I want to say list style type to none. So as you can see, the dots have disappeared. This is because of this style. And we're going to go ahead and do margin 0 and padding 0, just because. Probably 0 pixels, and pixels. Cool. So that takes care of that, and then we're going to call up the list items, and we're going to say, okay, each list item we want to do is just go ahead and do display inline. So that's, as you can see here, it puts them all in one line. So let's go ahead and add some color. So I want to add color to this entire screen. In order to do that, we're going to go ahead and go back into the body, and we're going to go ahead and do background color, and let's set that to like aquamarine. Nice. So now that we've added some color, since we're making this into a nav bar, say I want to align these three to like over here and have like the HackPSU logo over here or something, or I guess it'd be these three since this is one item. So in order to do that, what I would want to do is I want to go ahead and separate these two. So I'm going to make a div. Let's go ahead and call it class right. And we're going to go ahead and throw all these list items into this divider. So div stands for divider, and the point of it is just to say, oh, just to give it kind of custom class. So as you can see, as of right now, this has been put underneath it, and so to kind of showcase the difference. So first, we're going to go ahead and call this class. So in order to call a class, we're going to use dot and then the class name. And then just to see if it works, let's go ahead and change to red. And as you can see, it changes the colors to red. Awesome. So let's go ahead and do float to the right. And as you can see, it's all the way up to the right now, and they're all in line. Awesome. Great, cool. So they seem a little squished, I guess. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So let's go ahead and change up so let's try and change the units. Let's go and change this to 10 just to give it some breathing room. So this entire thing has now 10 pixels of breathing room. Or not pixels, but we're gonna go ahead and go through these list units or list items, and we're gonna go ahead and give it some padding. Let's do like 10 pixels. Yeah, that looks good. So we gave it some breathing room here. Let's go ahead and change let's make the font size so like 30 pixels. Sure, that looks good to me. And font family, Just do Arial. Cool. So padding basically allows for breathing room. Font size is the font size, and font family is what font you want to set. So everything in these that has an li tag around it is going to have these properties now. Cool, cool. So let's go ahead and add some main content into this. So this is kind of not necessarily it. We'll come back to the Nav Bar a little bit just when we want to link stuff over it. But let's go ahead and add some main content. So let's go ahead and first let me just go ahead and do this. So comments are really weird in HTML. This is the format that a comment takes. Yeah, it's pretty annoying, I won't lie, but you get used to it. Main content. So this main content is going to be the stuff that's like, you know, on the website, like the main stuff of it. So first, I'm going to go ahead and import our picture, the HackPSU logo. So let's go ahead and just do that. Ta-da! There it is. And as I said, definitely the HackPSU logo. So now that this logo has been imported, it's kind of big. So to fix that, we're gonna go ahead and give it a size. So let's go ahead and well, actually, I have a better idea. We're gonna give this an ID, and we're gonna call it main logo. So, in order to call an ID is supposed to be a unique identifier to the object, and so to call it in the CSS, we do this hashtag or number sign, and main logo, which is what I called it, and then the same bracket notation. As you can see, it did just highlight for a split second. Yeah, like that. There we go. And we're gonna go ahead and change the width to say to 200. It's kind of small actually. 400. Yeah, 500 fine. So we'll go with 500 pixels. And then, so now that we've added that, let's go ahead and add some text. HackPSU is the best hackathon ever. Cool. Just stating some facts here, and we're gonna add some buttons. Register and sign in. Awesome. So we're gonna have these four elements in our main content. So just to kind of make it look good, I kind of want to center it. So I only want to center these four elements. So since I want to center all four of them, I'm going to go ahead and make a div around them and give the class, what do I want to call this? Let's call it page center. And I want to wrap this div around these HTML tags. And then to call this div, we want to do .pg/center, and let's see, let's go ahead and do text align center. And as you can see, everything in this div class has centered. So with that in mind, this doesn't look, some of us may want to, I guess, center it vertically as well. I think we do that on our main website as well. I'm not even sure. I know I do it on my personal website, but so to do that, it's a little tricky. It's not as easy as this. We want to make another div around this. So I'm not going to bother with proper indentation, honestly. But I'm going to go ahead and call it div class full page. And we'll go ahead and add the div here. And we're going to give the full page a height of 100%. So it doesn't look like anything's changed. However, basically what this is saying is that anything in this full page is 100% of the height. So as you can see, it's kind of scrolling right now, and that's because it takes 100% height of this window. If I were to like lower it, like make it small, it's now like only this high. So that's what this does. So what we also want to do is set the positioning to this to relative. And so any position we're going to do later on is going to be relative to this full page, which is what we're going to do when it comes to everything in this div. We're going to go ahead and position this as an absolute. And I know that kind of removes the effects of this text line, which is fine. We're going to set top to 40%, or maybe not 40%, maybe like, or actually, hold up. Let's set top to 40%, left to 50%, and then we're gonna go, ooh, I don't know what just happened there. So we're gonna, yikes, there it is. Go ahead and do -ms -transform translate 50% -50%. This is straight from, I think it was W3 schools. This is how I learned how to do it. I'm sure there are different ways to do it, but this is just how I picked it up. And so what this is doing is it just centers it just like that. So this basically goes down and left. This is kind of like what's pushing it, and this is just a CSS transform. And so yeah, so now that it's kind of centered, it's kind of nice, it's kind of looking good. I'm just gonna save this. So next up, what I want to do is change up the buttons a little bit. So let's go ahead, since these buttons each have their own tags, let's just go ahead and call it buttons. And just go ahead and change the background color to like, let's go Alice blue, I guess. And then let's go ahead and change the height of it to like, yeah, let's do that. Change the height, change the width. Say, oh, it's a little big. Let's go with that one, sure. And then we'll go ahead and give it a border radius. Border radius is just gonna curve the edges. So there are certain things there's certain ways to use this. So if I do %, it'll do everything, but if I just do pixels, it'll kind of just curve the edges like that. So you can see kind of like that. So it's border radius. Next, let's go ahead and, what else do I want to do this? Let's go ahead and give it border. Let's do 3. Let's give it a 3, size of 3. A solid border, and color would be gray. That kind of matches the logo. Let's go with it. And then we'll make the font size a little bigger because just to showcase it. Cool. So that's styling the button a little bit. It is definitely better than the default button, that is for sure. Not necessarily a cute button, but let's go with it. So one thing that's definitely bothering probably everyone is the fact that the nav bar isn't kind of following. So to do that, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to this nav bar. I'm going to give it a div class, class nav. I'm going to wrap. Oops, come on. go ahead and wrap it around. And since I make distinguishing here, main content, I'll go ahead and call .nav, and we'll say we're going to set this positioning to sticky, and we're going to go ahead and set the top to 0 pixels, and that should keep it. As you can see, now that we're scrolling, it is keeping the nav bar in place. So that's what's going to allow it. If I change it to like, I think if I change it to like 10, yeah, it's just going to be more than that's, yeah. So normally, I think in most cases you want it set to 0 unless you want it like further down or something. So that's what's going to cause it to stay like that. So now that we're back at the nav bar, we may as well just kind of link some stuff. So let's go ahead and add A tags. So A tags are what allow us to link things. So we're going to do href. We've used href once here as well. And instead of linking to something local, which we can do, I think, we're going to go ahead and link to a website. So we're going to do https://hackpsu.org, and that should just link to Hack. It should be right. Yep, there it is, HackPSU. So if you click it, it's going to go into, oops, I just killed the live preview, but it's going to go to that website. Let's go ahead and restart that up. So that should take care of any kind of linking, and you guys can redo these A tags over here, here, and here. I'm not going to bother with it just yet. So one thing that's kind of constant about nav bars is that they don't have these weird underlines, and we're going to get rid of those as well because those underlines are kind of gross. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tag, and I want every hyperlinked item to not have this. This is why I'm using the A tag. So everything that has an A tag, I want the text decoration set to none. Just to kind of show you guys something else, if I do line through, it'll do that. There are other decorations, I guess, but I don't want anything, so I'm going with none. So another thing I want to show you guys is kind of an animation effect. So this will be a hover. So we're going to go ahead and do it to the buttons. So let's go ahead and add this. It's going to be button, hover. So this is what this item is saying, is that this is the normal styling for a button, and now in the event that we hover over a button, this is what should happen. So first I'm going to do is background, color black, just to show you the guys contrast, and I'm going to do the color to white. And so when I hover, the background color is going to turn to black and the text color is going to turn to white. So boop, as you can see, it does just change. However, I don't really like this much, and so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you guys a tool I use for quick animations. It's called Css3 Generator.com. So this one, I use this website. So how I use those, I use it really just for the transform stuff, or not the transform, the transition stuff. And I just go with all. You can go ahead and specify how long you want the transition and what transition you want to use. I go with the ease ones. That's kind of what it looks like. So this is the tool I use. It's a really nice tool. So we're gonna go ahead and use it, and I'm gonna throw it on to this hover right here. And so this is just a transition for these. Like, so this would be for Firefox, and this might be for Opera. This might be for Internet Explorer. I don't really know. I just think this is Mozilla Firefox. But we're gonna throw these on this hover one, So upon hovering, it should look nice. So as you can see, it kind of fades into it. And we're going to do the same thing for this button as well. We're going to go ahead and add the same animation here. And now when we go into it and leave it, it should have a really nice transition attached to it. Oh, one more thing. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this color. And what I'm going to do instead is add the background image that I was talking about in the beginning. And we're going to go ahead and do background image, URL, and we're going to change it to back.jpg. And now you have an image as your background. So as you can see, it is here. To get rid of this green, you can just remove this line and it should just get rid of it. So yeah, I think this should be good. I think I'm just going to end it here. Also, if you notice this text is different from that text, it's just because I set the list items, anything in a list item, to that font. I never really gave this font family, or I gave it a specific font. So yeah, I think I'm just going to end it here. So where you guys could go from here, things I would recommend, check out Code Academy. They have really good resources on HTML CSS. Check out some things I work with. I work with Bootstrap, Animate.css, Animated.js, I think, and Materialize.css. They're all great tools to work with, and they really speed up development. So go ahead and give those a look. And just the last thing, just make sure you guys stay safe during the coronavirus pandemic. Make sure you social distance and follow the World Health Organization guidelines. Take care, guys, and hopefully we'll see you in the fall.